Natacha, is this a search and rescue operation or just a search operation now?
Well, there are about 300 emergency service workers and firefighters here, and they say that it's a rescue operation. They have been working right through the night, and they say that they will continue for as long as it takes. It is a really difficult and painstaking task, as you can imagine. I don't know if you can see behind me, but just balanced on the end of some of that bridge are lorries and vehicles that basically slammed to a stop when the bridge collapsed. The people inside those vehicles, of course, lucky to have survived, but beneath is just a pile of rubble and concrete, and that is what is making this rescue operation so difficult, because the emergency service workers are having to use large machinery to move some of the concrete, to use their hands, pickaxes, really pick through the rubble with sniffer dogs, trying to find any signs of life, because as the hours pass, of course, it will become more and more difficult for any survivors to be pulled out alive. Now, overnight, there were only bodies pulled out. And across this city this morning, you know, as you woke up, you really sensed that this is a city where people are in shock. They're still really trying to absorb what has happened, because this is a bridge that carried a main motorway, the A10. It connects the city to the airport, to the French Riviera. It runs along the coast. Everybody knows it. Everybody has used this road. So to see it collapse like this is really incredibly shocking, incredibly upsetting for so many people. And there is, of course, a great sense of sadness, but a lot of anger as well, as why on earth did this bridge collapse?
What's the locals saying about the safety of the bridge, or how they perceived the safety of the bridge?
We know this bridge was built in the 1960s. It's become part of the landscape in this city. But what's interesting is 2 years ago, it was being renovated, and at the time, several people raised the alarm. Several people warned that perhaps the structure of this bridge wasn't safe, now, including an engineer, an MP. Despite those warnings, nothing was done, and this is the question now. Why was nothing done? And what some people are saying is, was it an economical problem? Was it a question of just sheer laziness? People sort of overlooking the fact that this bridge needed serious renovation, serious reconstruction. There are also talk of political infighting between various politicians in the region as to why this bridge wasn't reconstructed or even pulled down and rebuilt altogether. What we do know, though, is the Italian Interior Minister has announced a full investigation into this case, but the focus right now here in Genoa on the ground is very much still on the search for any possible survivors.
You've got the Italian Alps north of where you are. You've got a hilly country anyway. People driving on Italian roads, on Italian motorways, they must have a moment of, okay, here we go, when they go to cross a bridge in their car, in their truck.
And, you know, I have to say that was something that the team felt today as we were approaching this bridge again, because, as you say, it is a very hilly part of the country. There are roads and bridges everywhere, and as you cross those bridges, you do wonder, is the structure of this bridge going to be safe? Is it okay? And, of course, that is something that will be in people's minds here as well. Not only that, it's a major part of the city. We're right in the city, you know, a little bit on the outskirts, but it's a road that everybody uses, so it will affect the way that this city moves about, the mobility in this city over the coming weeks and days, and that's something that city authorities say that they will look at. This bridge also collapsed onto a railway track. That's another major route crossing from that connects, I should say, Italy even to France, just across the border. And we heard on Tuesday the French President Emmanuel Macron actually offering French help, emergency workers from France. He said that they could come here and help. For now, the Italian authorities say that they're okay, they don't need more help from outside. But as the days pass, we'll have to see what happens, because structurally it's an enormous problem for this city.
Does this have a knock-on effect in the immediate short term, Natacha, when it comes to literally moving around the country?
Well, it does, because as I said, this bridge is part of the A10 motorway. It connects the city to the airport. It's part of a motorway which runs along the Italian Riviera, connecting it to the French Riviera just across the border. It's an incredibly important road. It was used. It's used on a daily basis. Was used on a daily basis by thousands of people. And we're also in the middle of school holidays here in Europe, in Italy. So of course this was extremely busy. It's a national holiday today, a public holiday, an important day where people were moving around to join their families, and that's why there were so many vehicles in particular on this bridge, and that's why you can still see them backed up. A very eerie scene indeed, just really stuck in time in a way on that part of the bridge that you can probably see behind me.
Natasha, thanks very much.